So bear with me, if you will, just for a moment, because we're going to take a brief break from the Micromasters that we've been looking at, and we're going to look at another 4-bot team from the Generation 2 era. It is the Axelerators. Ever heard of them? Well, you're about to when we check them out in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Dennis Mullen, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, and of course subscribe. Check out Machinery of Man, the Everything Factor, Transformers Collectors NL, and me everywhere, please. And we're going to take a look at the Autobot Axelerators. By the way, the Decepticon counterpart are called the Sky Scorchers. That's so cool. But what are the Axelerators? The Axelerators come from the Generation 2 era. They are gaudy in their colors. And basically, their engines become their blasters. And it's these four little weirdos right here. Rapido and... I can't even remember all their names. You know the one name I remember? Windbreaker. Because it's such an unfortunate name, whether you're referring to passing gas or wearing a jacket. Anyway, are these any good? I didn't even know they were real until a week or two ago. I'd never even heard of these things, let alone know that Rapido got a release at BotCon 2010. What? Who knew? Let's find out how good these guys are when we head over to the table and take a closer look at them. Not all Autobot 4-member subgroups are created equal because they're not all Micromasters. Case in point, here enters something really kind of out of left field, and good friend of the channel, Wayne, likes sometimes to introduce me to some of these real weirdos. These four very brightly colored lads make up the subgroup known as the Axelerators. A-X-E-L-E-R-A-T-O-R. Not A-C-C. Not accelerator, but Axelerators. Anyway, it's made up of Rapido, Skram, Turbofire, and Windbreaker. Because, you know, sometimes he has to put himself on a chilly day when the winds are high and it's cold out. What unifies these guys is that their engines become their blasters in robot mode. They're very chrome engines, by the way. And they do have a Decepticon counterpart group called the Sky Scorchers, which, I'm sorry, they're really cool. Anyway, what can I say? They're Autobots and heroic. I think they came out in the G2 line because their Autobot symbols are G2 for sure. So that's probably why they're so brightly colored and weird and strange, you know. There were two, like, kind of variations on these guys. They were released in Europe with more, like, I believe, like pinky purpley windows. And then in North America, slightly redecoed with kind of cloudy, smoky, dark windows, which I think looks a little more realistic and just all around better. So, we're going to look at them very quickly, one at a time. I'm going to tell you now, they're something. They're something. They're very much something. I guess, like we have done with the Micromaster groups, we'll start off with the group's leader. That, of course, would be Rapido. And here's Rapido. He did get a release with Cindersaur in as a BotCon 2010 exclusive. It was a reuse of the Classics Universe Prowl, Smokescreen, Sideswipe mold. Kind of a stretch for this guy, but I guess it was cool to get an update of him, I suppose. I guess. I don't know. I mean, these guys got some, like weird comic book fiction and stuff. They might have even had some extended continuity in Japan. I don't really know their backstories very well, but this guy is, you know, a sports car. I think he's a concept car, actually. So we begin to do the conversion. By the way, he rolls like a champion. We begin to do the conversion by taking this piece out, but it likes to be in there pretty tight. It's his engine, it's chrome. We'll see that again shortly. it just goes in a little hole right there. In terms of doing the conversion, you flip down his legs, you pull that arm out and down, that arm out and down, and you'll notice that I just had a piece come off here. That hinges real tight. His hood loves to pop right off. I don't know if it's a problem with the mold as much as it is just the age of the guy. He's obviously gone to the screen a little bit. I'll get the hood section put back into position here, and then we'll finish the conversion off. But all we did so far, wow, I really stumbled over my words there, is flip down the legs and kind of pull the arms down on a hinge in here at the shoulder. Okay, and now that I've got his hood back on, we bring that down over his head, and he can barely see over it. The little blaster thing, it can go in his hand. You can bring that hand out and that hand out, and that can go in there. And I don't know. It's all right, I guess, you know. It's definitely a little bit different. He does have elbows. Despite the shoulders coming down on hinges, they can't go forward or back or move or do anything. You know, your kind of elbow movement there is your big thing. I guess, how high up can this get? You know, I guess it can get high enough that he can use his blaster to hit the ground. Like, okay. The legs, you know, he has a knee, but that's about it, really. The guy has knees, not a lot of articulation. The color, I don't know. It's he looks like Christmas. We'll say the color is 7. I don't know, 7, 10. 10. We'll go 10 because really, what do we have to compare it to? Come on. The articulation, I'm saying G1 even though I think it's G2. So it's, you know, it's your typical, it's 5. It's nothing to get excited about, but it's a break, you know. It is what it is. The conversion, it's pretty easy, but like, you know, this hood likes to pop off. It doesn't feel as good as I feel like it should feel, if the way I'm feeling makes sense. Overall, I mean, the guy is, I don't know, 5, I suppose, maybe a 6. It's an alright figure. Of course, he's not the only team member. We also have the thrill-seeking Skram, who turns into a Corvette Stingray. I know this car, and I'm sure many people do. Of course, as with all of these guys, you're able to remove the, like, engine, the chromed engine piece, the engine block, I suppose, it can come out and it will become his blaster. I'm not going to try and take it out there right now. We'll do the conversion for this guy first because I feel like it just sort of falls out as you do the conversion. And of course he's a very weird mix here of like electric pink and blue. We take the legs. Is that where we start with this guy? Legs. And we flip them out. We take the arms and we bring it down, and we bring it down. We can come up underneath now and push out his like engine piece, and then just like his partner, well actually we can pick his head up and then bring that down over. Make sure we have his shoulders down all the way, which I did not have done. This down over. We can pick up his arm here, and we can put his little blaster in his hand. Just like that, and we're going to back it up a little bit again here so we can see him a bit better. And Skram has a conversion very similar to his leader. The arms, they can, you know, bend up at the elbow. There's no shoulder going forward or back. It can go out to the side a little bit. I assume that if you can find the sweet spot, that Rapido can probably move out the same way, even though I said that they couldn't. Probably can. The knees, they bend. You know, he's a little bit more than a brick. The color is The color really reminds me a lot of Punch Counter Punch. I like this kind of orange and blue like connectivity. I don't know, it works for me. I don't know if it works for everybody, but it works for me. 10, I guess. The articulation, it's again about 5. It's nothing to get super duper excited about, but it's alright. And the transformation is simple. Things don't pop off on this guy. Overall, he's probably about a 6.5. He's a little bit better than Rapido. And the third member of this exceedingly average group is none other than Turbofire. Or sometimes he goes by the alternate name of Hotrider. I don't know. I guess it has something to do with his limited fiction, I suppose. But he is unique because he's the only one that has a pickup mode. You know, granted, with the garish colors from 1990, it really sort of looks like he should, I don't know, be in a parade maybe, you know? Right, I guess. The conversion, slightly different for this guy, but still pretty similar. We flip down the legs, and the joints are real tight on this guy. I don't know if these are originals that Wayne had or not, but like they're very tight legs. He's gonna go off screen, unfortunately. We bring the arms out to the side. Before I finish the rest of this, how about I reorient things so that we have the whole guy on screen. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. So we flipped down the legs and we did flip out the arms, but I'll do that again here now. And you can even, I guess if you want, bring his arms up and we can pop out his like engine piece thing, that chromed engine piece that's going to be his blaster. Then we get to the head, which is a very, very, very tight joint. Bring it up, and then just like we did with the other ones, once these are out of the way, we flip that down over his chest, and we take his little blaster thing, and it can go in his hand, and boom, there you go. Now, that being said, the guy looks pretty good, I guess. You need to be into this color scheme of the like reds and teals, I suppose. He does match Rapido pretty good. I don't know, like, I guess it's a 10, because what are we comparing it to, really? I like it better than the European version, I think. You know, I believe. The articulation, same as the other ones. I mean, he kind of bends at the elbow, he bends at the knees, and that's really it. By the way, I said that Rapido could only bend his arm far enough to aim at the ground, but he can bend it the full thing. You'll see that in a few minutes when we compare them all. It's just his joints are kind of exceptionally tight. But there you go, third guy. In terms of the transformation, again, average. You know, he's a 6.5, just like the other ones. I mean, he's fine. He is fine. And that brings us to the last member of the team. Just as Rapido is sometimes known as Racemaster, just as, well, Skram is always known as Skram, just as Turbofire is also known as Hotrider, we have, last but not least, Windbreaker. And that's an unfortunate name because either he is a jacket that you wear in the fall or the spring, you know, to protect yourself from high winds and probably rain, or his name means he's just passing gas, if I want to be a bit classy about it. The guy's name is a nice way of saying that he's a fart. It is what it is. So maybe he should go by his alternate name because he's also known as Zap, and I think that probably works better. Nevertheless, here's Windbreaker. I don't like you're scraping the bottom of the barrel with that name as far as I'm concerned. I'm just saying. Now, that being said, he is a rather nice car. He, of course, is a Camaro Z28. Now, modern fans probably know a Camaro as Bumblebee best, but I like it for Zap here instead. And yes, I'm going to call him Zap just because. He's orange and blue, very similar in color to the ThrottleBot Wide Load? Is that his name? Is that his name? I can't even remember his name. You know who I'm talking about. So, okay, he's rolls fine. Nice lad. I don't have anything against him. The conversion, very similar to everybody else's, where the legs, they flip out. Again, very tight. Now, for this guy, we don't have a part that flips down. Like his entire roof and arm section, all of it comes apart. So we take that apart and the engine piece falls out. We bring the whole arm down. Same over here, we bring the whole arm down and we can stand him up. We can bring out his arms a little bit and you can see just how tall the guy gets. And we come here and we bring up his head. Let me just reorient slightly. I wanted to kind of give you the best possible view that we could of the dude. There he is, and we, take his little blaster and put it in there and keep him stood up. Hopefully. I think we're good. You know, same articulation as the others. A little bit of a difference to his transformation where he doesn't have a part that flips down, but it doesn't really affect anything. It would have been nice if the shoulders could have been engineered on all four of these guys to rotate around 360 degrees, because then you would have technically had an elbow. They have the ability to move out a little bit even, and it would have been nice if they could go around 360. Give him some knees. Yeah, okay, wouldn't be able to do the splits or kick forward or back, but like, it would still be impressive for the time that it came out. As it stands, he is, of course, about a 6, just like his brothers. Speaking of his brothers, here they all are, and you can see right here at the beginning, we have Rapido, who is able to lift his arm all the way out. It's a fine group, I guess. They're a fine group of Autobots. It's amazing that the chrome has lasted as nicely as it has. I do think that the Sky Scorchers for the Decepticons have the cooler name than the Axelerators, but, you know, it's a nice little play on words, I guess. This would be the sort of thing, I think, where this is an average set. They're all about, you know, a 6 or so. They're fine. But I don't think any of them would be someone's first pick as their favorite character. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody would be like, I love Windbreaker. He is my favorite Autobot. But somehow I doubt it. You know? I didn't even know that these guys existed until very recently. They're definitely more from, I guess, the obscure corner of the fandom. And if you already know about them and you even know all the fiction, hey, yay you. They're all right. But their whole thing is that they have their nice chrome engines that become their blasters. Otherwise, they're just kind of simple, fun little Transformers, and it's a nice way to sort of bolster your Autobot ranks with, you know, 4 other bots that are just sort of there and fine. And I'm sure that the Decepticon Sky Scorchers are fine as well. Are they going to kind of blow anybody away? Probably not, but with their funky colors and their beautifully chromed engine pieces, there is definitely something to be said for just how much they can add to a shelf display. And here we are once again, and here they are. And you know what? Like, they're fine Autobots. I don't think any of them are exactly memorable characters, but they're fine. They're fine. This is one case where I kind of don't mind the gimmick, because the gimmick isn't really a thing. This is just 4 Transformers, and they're fine. I wish that we had more pronounced fiction to flesh out these guys and their character. I wish they were a little more prevalent. Who knows? Maybe they could have been a really cool team. Maybe one day they will become a really cool team and they'll get their final comeuppance. The weakest is the leader of the team, Rapido, because only half of his face shows out over his hood chest. Perhaps one of the strongest is actually Windbreaker. I'm going to call him Zap. Is actually Zap. I like his look the best, I think. They're all right. I don't know. They're okay. You know what? They're excellent at being average. And that's the best thing I could say about them, to be honest with you. What do you guys think about them? Are they anything better than average? You know, I love to hear from you guys. Again, I'm going to say please hit that subscribe button. It helps me out so very much. I thank you for giving me some of your very valuable time. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit right here inside the videos.